Hey, Truth. Hey, you ready to go to work? Oh, bloodsuckers. Well, we are gonna make sure she comes to the barn, and then we're gonna harness up Great Heart, and we'll hook up to the red wagon, and we'll get some cardboard out there to mulch the blackberries. And it's a little bit easier to mount such a tall horse on the uphill side. Whoa. Whoa. Stand still. Whoa. Whoa. All right. Let's ride. I had a mare named Blessing, and Blessing would see a dog and she'd pin her ears back like a mad cat and chase the dog out of the pasture. And Blessing was like a mama, like an adopted mama to Truth. So now that's what Truth does. She sees dogs in here and she'll pin her ears and chase them out. She'd probably be a good guard for like a flock of goats or sheep. Welcome to class at Henson Creek School of Country Living. Here we're going to learn a little bit about taking care of thornless blackberries. We planted these back in December, and as you can see, the weeds are definitely growing up here. And so our plan is that we are going to cut these weeds out of here, and then we are going to put a little bit of manure in between each plant as a fertilizer, and then we're going to put cardboard down, and we're going to put some sawdust as a mulch to keep the cardboard from blowing away, to keep it secured. So if you don't already have one, I would really encourage you to get an Asian sickle like this. It's really handy for, you can get really close to your plants. And most of these weeds, if you tried to pull them up, they're just too big to pull. So we're cutting them, and then after we cut the weeds, then we will smother them. And I like using this because what you cut you can also use as mulch. And if you were trying to do this with a weed eater, there's a pretty good chance that you'd accidentally cut your blackberry with the weed eater. So this tool, you can be really precise. It's really fun to use. One of my favorite tools. Looks like this one, huh? I was going to say that one died, but then I saw a leaf on it, so it looks good. I use a diamond file to sharpen this. Every once in a while you'll hit a stone, or around here there's crawdads that build these little, they drill down, you can see right there, they'll go down to the water table and they'll come up, and sometimes their mound of earth that they've dug their hole, you'll hit it with this and that can dull it. In a minute here we're going to get the wheelbarrow out and we'll get some manure, and we will fertilize these. Okay. Willow! Willow! Come on! Come on! Good girl. Bill's been training her to stay and sit and do some tricks. He's been throwing food. He threw some food at her and she caught it. All right. Well, we're going to go to the barn and get some manure. Hey. All right, we've got a Great Heart here and Stand Fast, and we've got some Thornless Blackberries down here in this fence row, and they need a little bit of fertilizer, so we're planning to put a bit of manure right in line here, and then later we're going to put cardboard mulch over and some sawdust. And we can't really put the manure spreader in gear and spread this because it would just kind of spread it all over where it's not actually going to help the plants very much. So we'll have to put it off by hand here. Well, looks like that one's already starting to flower. We planted them back in December.
Titus, why cardboard and the sawdust?
Yeah. If we just do the sawdust, if we don't put it thick enough, it'll almost encourage the weeds to grow through it. So that's why we're putting the cardboard down, and the cardboard will kind of smother the weeds out, and then we don't have to put as much sawdust. And I don't know for sure, but some people say that if you put on sawdust pretty thick, it'll pull nitrogen out of the soil. And so that's one reason why we're putting this manure down, is just to make sure that we have extra nitrogen so that we don't have that issue. All right, I'm going to move the horses up a little bit. Whoa! It's easier than climbing up in the driver's seat and putting it in gear.
Self-driving.
Yeah. Well, the Lord put it in their minds to know what to do. They like this job because they can eat while they rest while we're stopped.
Powers them up.
Yes.
They're good at mowing. They mow it down and then they clean it up.
Yes. Yep. Too bad we can't transmit smells over YouTube. Those wild roses there are really fragrant. But maybe it is a good thing that we can't transmit smell over YouTube, because then you don't have to smell this.
I don't think those roses are quite getting covered the manure.
Yeah, you'd have to get close to the roses and stay pretty far away from this. Yeah.
The full cycle right here. There's no way they're eating it, and now you're showing them
Yes.
eating back into the field for eating. That's perfect.
Recycling at its best. Yep. Yep.
Nice to know that your horses are eating very clean.
Yes.
When we were gardening, that was not something that we couldn't get manure that we could trust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes there's fields that are sprayed with a broadleaf herbicide, and then if you get manure from hay that the horses have eaten and it has that herbicide in it, then it'll really hurt your garden.
How long does it take to collect this much manure?
I probably forked, after I got the manure spreader in the right spot, I probably worked about 40 minutes to fill this. Half an hour, 40 minutes, somewhere in there. It's not too bad. Yeah, it's a very peaceful sound here in Mulch. The other night I had Standfast tied out in the yard next to my window, and it put me to sleep hearing him munch.
Nice lullaby.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna move him up a little bit. Whoa! Good boys. I see some little blossoms here on this blackberry. This will hold in the moisture pretty well too.
Well, I look forward to the videos you'll make about whatever you make with these.
Yes. Yeah, these blackberries are really good when you freeze them and you take frozen bananas and frozen blackberries and you put them through the champion juicer, and it makes a nice deep purple smoothie. Yeah, it's really good. These blackberries are like the end of your thumb. They're really big. Yeah. They have seeds. Yep. But they're thornless. Thornless. Yeah. No thorns.
I told us that blackberries are very good at cleaning the blood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna move them forward again. Benjamin, your feet are tough. There's some thorns in there. All right, boys. Whoa! Benjamin, when you guys were in Oregon, did you have wild blackberries that were real sweet?
So sweet. So good. They were invasive, but I didn't mind. We go harvest pounds and pounds of them, make sourdough blackberry cobbler
Woo!
and crumbles, and just have them around. We had thimbleberries and raspberries. We had mulberries, hayberries.
What are tayberries?
Another variety of berries. So Oregon's prolific with berries.
Berry country.
Keep tracking. And then is it Marionberry? That's like blackberry.
And then there was hayberries, a cross between a raspberry and a blackberry.
Huh.
Could be wrong about that.
Blackberries that we have here are pretty tart. Okay, I need to move them up a little bit. Whoa! Oh, boys, you got a little close to the berries, but I'll just stand on top of it. drop it down from here.
What else can this machine do besides spread manure?
You can put lime in it, like crushed limestone. You can spread, although you don't want to put a huge amount on because that stuff's really heavy. Probably it's easier to do it from up here. Sounds like Spartacus is after a rabbit. I've tried to convince him that he doesn't need to eat other animals and that he can be on a plant-based diet, but he craves flesh foods. Yeah.
Have you tried your chili?
He eats it if he's really hungry, but he prefers meat. He's a real carnivore. I don't know, he's had 13 or 14 years of being around me, and he still is pretty sure that he likes to eat meat. All right, boys. Whoa! Whoa! We're real close now.
You don't have to fling it as far.
Yeah. Just drop it down. Sometimes as hard as you try, it seems like there'll always be a few hay strings in there. Oh, yeah. Sometimes Stand Fast or Great Heart will have a big mouthful and the other one will just reach over and pull it out. They're pretty good about sharing with each other. They've been working together for, let me see, I guess they've been working together for about 13 years. So they've gotten to know each other pretty well, and they'll let each other eat grain out of the same manger or the same bucket. But they won't let any other horse eat out of the same bucket with them.
So they're looking at each other like, I know how hard you work. This is as hard as I work. You deserve it.
Yep. Yep, they're teammates for life.
Got his tail in the barbed wire.
Yeah. The harder I work, the lower I go on this job. When you're putting up hay, the harder you work, the higher you go up when you're stacking hay on the wagon. Alrighty, I guess I'm gonna move him up a little bit. Whoa! Okay.
Usually launch into that one.
Yeah, they're ready to go and get the job done. That's a little bit close. Okay.
Last night we went on an evening walk and the fireflies
Fireflies.
were out. And it was just many constellations of fields that were in the sky. So beautiful.
Yeah, around here there's not any big lights from a city, so you can see the stars really clearly.
There were so many I can actually recognize very many constellations because they were crowded than usual. It's kind of nice. We definitely don't see that many, even just in our town.
Mm-hmm. Looks like it may rain.
Tonight?
Possibly.
Tomatoes will like it.
Yes. Benjamin and Laura and I transplanted some tomatoes earlier today. So if it rains, it'll help them. We use cardboard for bedding. It's definitely a good way to recycle cardboard. We've got a grocery store up the road, about 3 miles up the road, and I take the horses in the wagon and load up a big load of cardboard and then take it to the barn and put it into the stalls for bedding. It breaks down pretty well.
So the store appreciates it as well.
Yep. Well, that gives you a pretty good idea of what we're doing here, and when we put the cardboard down, we'll show you the next step. All right, we got Truth here and Great Heart together. I need to tie these lines together, and then we're going to hook up to the old red wagon. And then we got to pull that wagon around to the end of the barn here, and we've got to load up some cardboard. Thanks, Bill, for snapping that one. It always helps to have all 4 of them snapped.
I was going to say, you weren't getting anywhere in a hurry.
Alrighty. We'll Are you gonna drink truth or are you just playing? Easy. Easy. Whoop. Up. Whoa, ho. Go back. Back. Back up. Back. 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 Whoa, whoa. All right, we gotta hook up their neck yoke now. This is where you get horse slobber on your back. Alrighty. Whoa. We'll get Great Heart's chains hooked up here. Oh, truth. Big old girl. Over, 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 over. Ah, she's tall. Back, back up, back. Good girl. Okay. There's a local pallet mill that we picked this up. That's about 3 miles away or so. Whoa! Oh. We've got some sawdust here across the creek that we need to load up and spread out at some point. Okay. Whoa. Oh. All right, Brother Bill. I will meet you in the back of the barn. He decided it wasn't too nutritious because he quit eating it. Okay, we've got to load up this pile of cardboard that we have stockpiled. This is recycling at its best. Whoa, whoa, ho, ho! Come back here. Whoa. Back. 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 You gotta wait till your captain gives you your orders. Whoa, ho. Back. 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 Whoa, ho. If you guys aren't gonna stand, flies are kind of bothering them. If you guys are not gonna stand, I'm gonna fix you up to where you'll have to. Whoa. try that. I made a spot for this fork to hang it up, and I found out that it doesn't work to have it hanging up here because Truth will knock it down. Now this one she doesn't knock down because it's kind of hidden by the post, but if it's sticking out like that, she'll see it. Whoa. Yeah, I can, these saddles here, I can put Stand Faster Greatheart in this and it's fine, but if I leave a saddle like that, she will throw it off and it'll be stomping the manure the next morning. So on her stall, you won't see any saddles hanging. We learned that that doesn't work. Whoa! There's a little bit of stretch in that rope. Back. Back up. Back up. Back. Back up. Whoa! I know the flies are bothering you. The bloodsuckers are sucking. If I could, I'd wipe them all out of existence. Whoa. I'm hoping that we got enough cardboard to cover what we're doing. I have been told that glossy colored cardboard can contain chemicals that can be harmful. So for that reason, I'm going to set this one aside. Hopefully, we won't have a cascade of cardboard coming off of here. Whoa! Y'all stay still. Whoa! If it wasn't for the flies, they would be standing better, a lot better. Back up. Back. Whoa! If y'all don't stand still, I'm going to have to figure out a different way to deal with you. I'm afraid that if we put it all on, it's going to come off.
Just take what you got for now, see what you
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We'll take this out, we'll spread it out, and then we may come back later. And it looks like I need to move this gate to be able to get out. And maybe move a plow. Looks like it might rain on us. Okay. All right. So you can see the thornless blackberries here. And we're just trying to cover them up. We're we're trying to overlap everything that we can. Anytime that even if you just have a slight crack in the cardboard, if sunlight can go through that, weeds will come up through. And we don't really, if we would put like the sawdust like 6 inches deep or 8 inches deep, we wouldn't really have to have the cardboard. But because we I don't have a huge amount of sawdust that's easily accessible at this time, and so I'm hoping to get by with a thinner layer of sawdust. So that's why one of the reasons why we're using cardboard. Okay. This is manure that we got out of the barn, but we use the deep litter method, so we just keep on piling and piling and piling, bedding on top. So it's probably about 1/3 manure and about 2/3 hay and cardboard here. Truth, you're doing better about standing still. That's good. Okay. So we'll still have to do some weeding. Cover that hole there. We'll have to do some weeding, but for the most part, this should leave the cardboard alone. There you go. For the most part, this should pretty much cut down on a lot of the weeding. Whoa! Whoa! It dumped off in about the right spot. I'm not sure which of these forks is going to work better for what I'm planning to do here, so. And I've got some briars, wild rose bushes to pick up here. So, if I didn't have sawdust, I would just cut more of this brush and I'd lay it on top, and that would keep this cardboard from blowing away. We made the mistake earlier of putting this down, and then I thought, well, I'll just peg it down. So we cut some short pegs and we pounded them in, and it didn't hold it down, and the wind ripped off quite a bit of what we had laid earlier. So I believe we're going to be a lot happier with the sawdust to hold this down. And some people are going to say, oh, don't do that, don't do that. It's going to pull out too much nitrogen out of your soil. I wouldn't want to put a lot of this on without adding some form of nitrogen, but we should have enough. We should have enough manure here that we won't have to be too concerned. And with a good rain, this sawdust will kind of harden up and should weight it down enough that the wind won't tear it off. A poor Truth. She's young and impatient, pawing at the ground. I don't think this sawdust is going to go as far as I would hope it would. It smells pretty good. It smells like pine. Okay. The bigger the boxes, the better. I'm thankful for a Mennonite grocery store, Salvage Foods, up the road, and they saved me these big pieces. Now, here it's important that we overlap. And it probably would have been easier to lay this right after we planted it, but we did not have the cardboard at that time. So I'll cut out my holes here. In really dry climates, you probably would want some kind of drip irrigation underneath this. But we have so much rainfall here and there's so much moisture in this ground that even though some of the water is going to rush off and run off of this, because cardboard is almost waterproof, but at least for quite some time. But I don't think we're going to have any issues with our plants getting enough water. One time I covered a good portion of the garden with cardboard, and I had a bunch of sticks and stuff, and I weighted the cardboard down with cardboard, and then I planted watermelons, and I had pretty good success. Okay. There we go. Looks good. Get up. Whoa! Oh. I have a big scoop shovel around here somewhere, but I don't remember where I had it last. I think the big scoop shovel will work better than this, but this works for now. This is kind of like something in between wood chips and sawdust. The sawdust from like a bandsaw is quite a bit finer than this, and wood chips are more coarse than this, so this is something in between. Bill, you think it's going to rain? It looks like it could.
Calling for rain this evening
Mm-hmm.
and all day tomorrow.
Woo. I'm hoping it'll hold off because I need to plow some more and get some ground ready to plant corn.
My 2 days is supposed to be dry Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
It's all supposed to start up again Monday.
Woo.
That's why the rain's still freezing.
I see. Hey, ooh. Easy, girl. It's okay. Whoa, whoa. Alrighty. Whoa. Well, I'm definitely gonna have to get another load of sawdust. And it looks like it's about ready to rain on us. So I'm gonna get this unloaded as soon as I can. Got an Amish neighbor that works at the pallet mill, and I think I'm gonna say, hey Enos, why don't you take my team and leave your buggy and horse here, and then he can pick it up for me and drive this rig, and that'll save me some time. I think he'll be agreeable to that, but he might have to wake up about 15 minutes earlier in the morning because these horses are a lot slower than the one that he would be driving to work. I'm kind of glad this rain's coming when it is, because if this sawdust gets wet and heavy, and this cardboard gets wet, it'll kind of conform down to the ground, and then we shouldn't have trouble with it blowing off like what we were having trouble with before. Whoa! There shall be showers of blessing. This is the promise of love. There shall be seasons refreshing, sent from the Savior above. Showers of blessing. Showers of blessing we need. Mercy drops round us are falling, but for the showers we plead. There shall be showers of blessing, precious reviving again, over the hills and the valleys, sound an abundance of rain. Showers of blessing, showers of blessing we need. Mercy drops round us are falling, but for the showers we plead. There shall be showers of blessing. Oh, that today they might fall. Grant to us now a refreshing. Now as on Jesus we call. Showers of blessing. Showers of blessing we need. Mercy drops round us are falling, but for the showers we plead. All right. Whoa! Oh. Whoa! I have a song that Jesus gave me. It was sent from heaven above. There never was a sweeter melody. 'Tis a melody of love. In my heart there rings a melody, there rings a melody with heaven's harmony. In my heart there rings a melody, there rings a melody of love. I love the Christ who died on Calvary, for he washed my sins away. He put within my heart a melody, and I know it's there to stay. In my heart there rings a melody, there rings a melody with heaven's harmony. In my heart there rings a melody, there rings a melody of love. Well, the only reason I have these thornless blackberries is because of my dear wife. I told her I'm too busy with farming and trying to get the house of prayer built, and I just don't have time for it. And so she started out here trying to cut these briars out from under this fence and cutting brush and stuff. And then Virginia came and she helped a little bit and brought some loppers, and Stephanie wrangled some other volunteers in on the project. And what did you say?
I said Caitlin.
Oh yeah, Caitlin and Braden helped, and so once they got it started, then I started kind of trying to get it finished. But it's definitely been a lot of work, but I'm sure we won't regret putting the effort into it. Whoa! Pretty nice not to have to go up and put them in gear or hold the steering wheel, just tell them to go. I'm thankful the Lord gave them willing hearts to work. Well, thank you all for watching, and I hope that you get inspired to plant some blackberries. They really are a lot lower maintenance than some things, and I hope that this video will inspire you to get some blackberries. And even if you live in the city and you just have a small backyard, blackberries will grow, and you don't have to have sawdust like this to mulch them. You can use cardboard and weigh it down with brush or leaves. Well, God bless you all. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. We've got their harnesses off, and they're looking forward to going to the pasture for the night. Whoa. Here. Whoa. Here. He's about ready to roll. He's thinking about it. Thinking about it. There he goes, there he goes. Sometimes truth will come and like bite him while he's down. And he's not sure what to think. She's looking back at me. Now he's itching his foot. It's interesting that when they go to sleep at night, they'll lay down in the same proximity, and they each go into this deep sleep where they put their head all the way down and they look almost dead, but they won't all go into that deep sleep at the same time. So it's like they cycle through it, so they're not all sleeping at the same time. It's like a safety mechanism in case a predator were to come sneak up on them while they're sleeping. So that way, if one is in a deep sleep, another one is going to be in a lighter sleep or awake, so that if a predator comes, they'll all wake up and they'll all be safe. I always enjoy when I get done working them, just watch them roll. I never get tired of watching it. It always fascinates me. I guess whenever you work really hard and you can go home and just lay down and kind of relax. That must be how they feel when they've worked hard and they can just lay down in the green grass and just relax and roll. Alrighty, well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.